because Jay-Z and Puff was given an assignment, and that was to destroy East Coast rap. And
he lined up D-Haven, stole his life and identity. He lined up Big L, stole his life and identity. He lined up Dame Dash, stole his life, identity, and took his love.
For decades, the collapse of the East Coast hip-hop dominance looked like a natural shift in music. But heavy hitters behind the scenes are now claiming it was a paid, coordinated takedown. The narrative is flipping and pointing directly at two of the wealthiest moguls in the game. That's where things start to connect.
Oh, yo, before I forget this, we talked about Jay. Proximity to Diddy. You don't think he knew anything? He's seemingly around Diddy a lot.
No, that was a real suburb question.
I know, right? Proximity. Proximity. That's the SAT hit parade word. I had to learn that.
And that's where this ties back to the carefully crafted image of a certain New York billionaire. People have been wondering how someone stays that close to a massive industry scandal without catching any of the fallout. The whispers aren't just about attending lavish parties anymore. They are about how access and power were heavily traded behind closed doors. When you look at the timeline, the people who were at the top of the food chain never seemed to lose their footing, even as their closest associates faced total ruin. You see, the real money wasn't just in making hits. The real money was in controlling who even got to step up to the microphone. If you controlled the gate, you kept the millions.
Personally, right, how do you think people view Puffy right now with everything coming out?
well, my perception of the public opinion is that right now, I believe not only that I wouldn't say people hate him, people just think that he's probably one of the nastiest MFs that ever was in the industry, ever.
And some insiders argue the gate was locked on purpose. What makes this theory interesting is how the industry reacted. To keep the rest of the industry in line, fear was the ultimate currency. When you have a reputation that makes grown men look the other way, you can dictate exactly who gets a record deal and who gets completely blacklisted. If the gatekeepers are known for being absolute nightmares behind closed doors, independent artists are going to back down quickly. No one wanted to step on the toes of the top dogs because the consequences were known to be career-ending. The entire ecosystem was built on keeping a tight circle of trust and punishing anyone who tried to break into the inner sanctum. That level of control allowed them to rewrite the rules of the entire business without anyone raising an eyebrow. But the control extended far beyond just the music business.
Some of the stuff that these guys are hearing that he's doing, I know they turn in their head that they was hugged up, kissing them all on the cheek. They kissing each other on the cheek and everything like that. I know these guys who used to probably party with him, you know what I'm saying? They feel disgusted. Because now, if you did an after party with Diddy, they know it's a possibility that you could have had another man energy on you. And I ain't talking about no energy drink.
It seeped into the personal lives of everyone involved. When you hear those kinds of rumors, it changes everything about how you view their rise to power. The environment they cultivated wasn't just toxic, it was a strategic weapon. By keeping everyone around them compromised or terrified, the men at the top ensured unquestioned loyalty. Nobody is going to speak out about stolen publishing deals or suppressed record contracts when they are worried about their own survival. It was a brilliant, incredibly dark way to maintain an absolute monopoly over the culture. But a heavy reputation can only take you so far in the corporate world. Eventually, the big money demands a clean image to keep the sponsors happy, and that is exactly when the dramatic shift in public perception was put into motion. Look at how their peers viewed the massive rebrand from street hustlers to corporate elites.
Wait a minute. So you're saying the success is derived from the marriage?
I've absolutely been treated differently.
The accolades.
Because he's no longer viewed as what, like a street or gangster rapper. Now he's viewed as a businessman, entrepreneur, family man.
And the biggest ones because of the position Beyonce's.
Oh, wow.
And that is the exact pivot that changed everything. The transition from a gritty street persona to an untouchable corporate icon. Once the luxury suits and high-profile partnerships came into the picture, the shady business tactics were swept right under the rug. Nobody questions a family man sitting in boardrooms with billionaires. The shiny awards and the massive brand deals acted as the perfect shield against any industry backlash. When you're branded as the pinnacle of success, people stop asking how you actually built the foundation. The legacy became bulletproof almost overnight. The alliances that were forged weren't just for love or friendship. They were high-stakes corporate mergers designed to legitimize an empire. Listen to how the specific timing of these major life events resulted in an immediate flood of mainstream awards and undeniable industry protection. It is a
Look, when Jay signed his contract, the big one was with Beyonce. When he signed that contract, the marriage contract, he got trophies. Now those fucking trophies, trophies came rolling in, buddy. He started getting Grammys left and right, man. I mean, look, listen, if you look at his career,
This guy.
Wow. You're gonna let him say that?
Jay was getting Grammys.
You're gonna let him say that?
he had one.
Exactly.
He had
And
one.
he ain't show up.
No, he has like 20 now.
Hold on.
He had like 18 since he been down. Look, he had one, bro. Hard Knock Life.
Hold on. You're not wrong. At the same time.
After that, he got them shits. He's like drinking. His pictures with him like,
classic playbook. Once you reach the mountaintop, you immediately cut the ropes so no one else can climb up after you. The very people who helped build the early foundations were suddenly viewed as massive liabilities. The loyalty vanished the moment the massive corporate checks started clearing. This wasn't just a falling out between old friends. It was a calculated business strategy to consolidate absolute power by removing the highly vocal and independent thinkers from the inner circle. The remaining leaders had total control over the narrative and the cash flow. It left a trail of fractured empires and alienated allies who are only now starting to piece the puzzle together out in the open. The silence that bought them time is finally breaking. Listen to the sheer frustration from the people who were completely left behind. When the truth starts...
So you have an issue with the narrative that people is pushing, saying that Jay, he need to help you out and give you some money.
That was corny. What should he give me money for? Like, and when did I ask for him to give me any money? And why do I need any money from Jay-Z? I've been not trying to get no money with him, so why would I want to start getting money with him now? Not all money is good money to me. But like, why? Because there's a lawsuit for $800,000, and because I owe $20 million.
Spilling out, the sheer scale of the manipulation becomes terrifying. It is almost mathematically impossible for that many prominent figures to lose everything while just a select few end up holding all the chips. Every time a potential rival or a difficult partner started gaining too much traction, they were quickly neutralized. They lost their leverage, their funding, and sometimes their entire public platform. This systematic clearing of the board ensured that the top spot was never truly contested by anyone from their own region. By controlling the board, they controlled the entire narrative. And what makes this even worse is how they allegedly forced people to sit quietly while it was all happening. Former insiders are now breaking their silence about the incredibly tense situations forced upon the artists who were stuck in the middle.
Yeah, shout out D. Haven. He actually hit us up, wanted to tell this story.
You need to talk to D. Haven.
Yeah, we need to talk to him.
I told you that last year when I put you on the phone with him.
You did.
I want you to think about this. Allegedly, Sean Carter is responsible for enacting Hype Williams to put Aaliyah on a faulty plane to move her out the way as punishment for rejecting him, and so he could level up Beyonce, who was struggling. Let's just say allegedly that happened. Now I want you to think about 106th and Park with Mary J. Blige. Free, who is a victim of Sean Carter.
Yeah.
Mary J. Blige, who is a victim of Sean Combs, are sitting there talking about the death of Aaliyah amongst each other. Think about that. You got a Diddy victim, you got a Jay-Z victim, and you got a superstar gone. They know what happened. And yet, they had to sit there and have that conversation like they didn't know who did it. Mm-hmm. Think of the power of that moment. Think about Claudia Jordan right now.
Those moments of forced silence speak volumes about the power dynamics at play. You don't get away with that level of psychological control unless the entire industry is complicit. The executives, the media, and the peers all had to look the other way while the giants dismantled anyone who stood in their path. It was a massive machine designed to chew up raw talent and spit out millions of dollars for the gatekeepers. And the scariest part is how methodical it all was. This wasn't just random bad luck for these artists, it was a coordinated strike to remove them from the equation entirely. The people who saw it happen are finally connecting the dots, revealing a pattern of targeted destruction. That's where things start to connect, regarding the ultimate goal of these ruthless takedowns. Just look at the pattern.
Yeah, we see the lineup. I'm just waiting to see who's next.
Jay-Z is setting Diddy up. Why is everyone having such a hard time? He ain't doing shit different. He lined up D-Haven, stole his life and identity. He lined up Big L, stole his life and identity. He lined up Dame Dash, stole his life, identity, and took his love. Lined up R. Kelly. He wants to be the one.
What makes this theory interesting is the undeniable motive behind it all. Pure, unchecked financial greed. New York talent was getting way too expensive, and record executives wanted cheaper labor. So if you're a massive label bleeding cash, you don't fight the artist yourself. You hire the biggest names in the city to shut the entire movement down from the inside. They allegedly flipped the script, making sure the rising stars in their own backyards never saw the spotlight. It was a complete monopoly disguised as a friendly neighborhood rivalry. By holding back the competition, they secured their spots at the very top of the wealth ladder. The grand finale of this entire plot is finally being dragged into the light. Listen to exactly how the ultimate suppression campaign against their own coast was successfully executed.
Why do you believe that Jay and Puffy is close, even though Jay's lawyer came out and said they're not?
Because Jay-Z and Puff was given an assignment. And that was to destroy East Coast rap. And what I mean by that, and I know people gonna be like, yo, Gene is out of his mind and everything like that. Check this out, brother. Is that New York rappers was getting 80 to 100, 800 to 1.2 million, or some larger than that, and sign with labels back then. And they was getting a lot of money to make albums and records. When they had guys down south that these labels was paying $250,000, $300,000 on record deals, and these guys was bringing back platinum albums and everything like that. So what they had to do was they had to keep New York rappers down. That's one reason, other than the Irv Gotti shit that 50 was going through and the poison they was putting in about 50, he had to go elsewhere to California or with Jay and not with Dre and Eminem to get a deal. They did not want East Coast rappers to get big. They were suppressing all new artists that was coming out of New York. Jay and Diddy was doing that. That's why when I heard your story, because I knew this for a long time, but when I heard Dame Dash that Jay wouldn't sign off on nothing, Jay wouldn't do this and Jay would that, because he couldn't let a Cameron blow up. He couldn't let an East Coast rapper like Beanie Siegel blow up. Because him and Diddy was giving that deal, we got to keep these East Coast rappers.
The ultimate betrayal wasn't just about money, it was about actively dismantling the exact community that built them. By suppressing their own region, they guaranteed their absolute reign at the top of the music world. The millions saved on cheap contracts padded their own corporate pockets, leaving a generation of incredible talent stranded without a massive platform. The gatekeepers traded the culture for unprecedented wealth, keeping the entire industry under strict lock and key. As more former insiders step up to the microphone, the polished legacies of these billionaires are beginning to crack heavily under the pressure. The real question is, now that the blueprint is out in the open, will the industry finally hold the architects accountable? Or is their corporate shield too thick to pierce? Let us know what you think in the comments below. Hit that like button and subscribe for more.